Okay, as promised, here's your video about buoyancy force in your boat with the aluminum foil project. So the whole basis on how you get your boat to float is based on something called Archimedes' principle. And Archimedes was a guy in ancient Greece, and he's the guy who's famous for getting in his bathtub. When he got in his bathtub, the water overflowed and spilled out the sides, and that's when he realized Archimedes' principle, and so he's really famous for jumping up and running through the streets naked, shouting "Eureka!" because he has discovered the buoyancy force. But basically, what he proposed and proved was that if you want something to float, the mass of the object in the water basically has to equal the mass of the water displaced. And so if the mass of the water that your boat displaces equals the mass of the object you're trying to float, then it will float. And this all goes back to density. So if you think about last year in chemistry, what makes something float? And the answer was density, right? To float, the density of your boat must be less than the density of water, because that's what makes things float, right? If styrofoam is less dense than water, that is why styrofoam ends up floating. So you have to make your boat's density be less than the density of water. And so when you look at your density equation, density will be the mass of your boat divided by the volume of the boat. So it's not the density of the materials so much as the average density of your entire boat. And that's why ships made of metal can still float, even though metal normally does not. So that means the mass of your boat, including your 5 kilogram weight, divided by the volume that your boat is, has to be less than water. So if you want to come in after you've built your boat into the lab, I will let you weigh your boat in grams. But your 5 kilogram weight plus whatever mass your boat is divided by whatever volume your boat occupies, which means you'll have to kind of estimate how much volume your boat is, which would be geometry skills. You have to make sure that that number is less than 1,000 kilograms per meter cubed, which is the density of water in SI units. Okay, so that's the gist of it. If you need help figuring this out or want to ask me more questions, feel free to come ask me, but that is the gist of how you do this. So good luck. If this boy can build an aluminum boat that he can sit in, you can definitely do one for a little tiny mass. Okay? Have fun.